What's going on, everybody? My name is Matt, and today I'm going to talk about my top 10 bread and butter clothing items that I always pick up to resell. I started reselling about 3 years ago. These brands I've been picking up the whole time. I don't see myself stopping picking these up. These do really good for me, and I have a bunch of examples for you. Now, most of these examples are men's clothing. I do have some women's in here as well. Some of these do sell pretty good in women's. You just have to kind of look around and see what you can find. I mostly resell men's clothing, but when I'm out and about, especially at garage sales, I come across a lot of really good women's clothes. I do pick up some of these as well. And really quick, if you're new to reselling and you don't know how to look these items up, you can search on eBay, then go to filter sold items and see what these are selling for on average. You can kind of get an idea of like the sell-through rate and if these are selling good or not. If there's a ton listed compared to what's actually selling, then you're probably going to want to stay away from those items. You can also search these on Poshmark. A lot of times there's clothing I can't find on eBay that I can find on there. Go to the filter availability and go to sold items and find a bunch on there as well. And then you can also search on Mercari and filter sold items as well. The first brand we're going to talk about is Wrangler. Now, I love to pick up the Western shirts, especially if they have the pearl snaps. These are the ones I'm mainly picking up. Here's a good look of what the tag looks like. I try to stay away from a lot of boring colors. They tend to sit for a long time. But if you can find really good color patterns like this and in really good shape and not too thinned out like they're going to fall apart, those are the ones you really want to look for. As you can see, this one I picked up for $3 at a garage sale. This one's really nice. It will probably get me around $25 or so. I don't really mess with a lot of Wrangler jeans. Sometimes I'll find them brand new with tags at garage sales, and if they're really cheap, I'll pick those up, and I've done pretty well with those as well. There are some newer Wrangler shirts I will pick up, but I'm pretty picky. They really have to be really nice color patterns and really big sizes for me to do that. Most of those tend to sell pretty cheap, but if they're like 2XL, 3XL and up, those can do pretty good actually. Here's another example. This one's all plain color in red, but look at that. The pearl snaps are all red as well. This one will probably be another $25 shirt, maybe a little bit more. This is a medium size. A little bit smaller size. I really like to pick up mostly extra large and bigger sizes, but a lot of times like at garage sales, I will find smaller sizes for really cheap of good brands. I still pick them up. They take a little bit longer to sell, being that this is like a really nice one with the red pearl snaps. This one should do really good. I believe I paid like $1 for this at a garage sale. This was definitely a good find. It's gonna make me some good money. Here's another good example of a Wrangler. Check that one out. It's got like some horses on there. Something like this that has a really cool pattern on it, probably gonna sell for a little bit more money. So I could probably get around like 30 bucks or so for this. This one is a size large, so not quite as big as what I like, but I got this for a good price. And here's a little look at that tag. Now here's some examples of some more plain colors. I like to get these only if they're a lot cheaper to buy. So especially at garage sales, I'll pick these up. At a thrift store, I really don't want to pay too much for these because I just don't get as much for them. But something like this is a good example. Pretty plain color. People are still buying these though. Something like this will probably get me, I'd say probably about $18 tops. Here's another good example. This one's not as bad. These are a little bit older too, so they're kind of getting thinner. And then this one is a little bit newer. This is a short sleeve shirt. I don't really like to pick these up for too much at the thrift store if they're like $5 or something like that, because a lot of these shirts, I'm probably gonna get around $17 for it. You could sell these for a little bit cheaper if you want to sell them faster, but they still do pretty good for me. Just like I said, you know, if they're really expensive at the thrift store, I usually try to hold off, but if I find these at a garage sale for like 50 cents or $1, I will pick these up. I will also pick up shirts like this is a pearl snap flannel. This will do really good for me as well. I would say $20, maybe $23. If it was a bigger size, like 2XL, 3XL, then I could probably get around 25, 27 bucks for it. Next brand we're going to talk about is Woolrich. I don't find this one quite as much as the rest of these, but when I do, I usually like to pick it up. Unless it's like 100% cotton at a thrift store and they're asking $3, $4, $5 for a shirt, like a button-down shirt, then I usually probably won't pick those up unless they're just a really big size. I'm mostly looking for 100% wool. I don't always find that. These examples are not all wool, but this one's mostly cotton. This is a houndstooth flannel. Here's a good look at that tag. This one will probably get me around like $22 range or so. If you can find these with elbow patches, they do really good, especially like the 100% wool jackets or wool blend jackets. Those definitely do the best for me. I have sold quite a bit of the cotton button-down shirts like I was talking about, but I'm normally picking them up at a garage sale for like $1 or $2 a piece. Whereas, you know, like I said, buying them at thrift store for more, it just gets to be a little too pricey. You're not gonna make as big as margins on them. This is also a really nice piece. This is a wool blend Woolrich vest. I think these go for like $18. I picked this up at a garage sale, I think for like $2. So still gonna make me some really good money. But if you find these in wool, like I said, definitely pick them up. There's some big money to be made there. Next, we're gonna talk about a brand that you probably already know, or you should know, and that is Harley Davidson. I find these a lot. I live in South Dakota and they have the big Sturgis events, you know, around here, and I just find a lot of this stuff. It seems like this one I got for $2. It's a pretty basic sleeveless shirt. This one I'll probably get like $15 for realistically. This one is Sioux City, Iowa. A lot of smaller towns, I don't seem to get as much as bigger cities. Something like this I'd probably put on Whatnot. It's a live auction app. This would probably do really good on there. A lot of stuff like this I would buy for Whatnot. Here's a good example. This one is San Francisco. No really crazy graphics here, but stuff with bigger cities on it tend to sell a lot better for me online. This one is 1997, so it's also vintage as well. I'm not sure how much this shirt will go for, but some stuff that's vintage like this, bigger cities, I could probably get like $20 for it, unless they're going for more. Just have to see. Now, this one is Las Vegas, Nevada. This one has like some skulls on it. You know, it's pretty basic on the front, but stuff like this I do really well with. This one is a 2011, so I probably won't get as much for this one. Something like this I might just put on Whatnot as well. I'll have to do a Whatnot live auction sometime soon with that. I have a lot of other pieces as well. I want to do like a big Harley Davidson show. It's mostly t-shirts and stuff, but if you're new to Whatnot and you've never used it, sign up through the link I have down below and you can get free $15 in credit to shop with. So the next one I want to talk about is their button-down shirts. This one's pretty basic, not really much going on here. All it has is just Harley Davidson above the pocket. This one's, you know, it's not going to sell for quite as much. If it had more going on, definitely sell for more. This is a large tall, probably $18 to $20 for this. Now this one is short sleeve. It's a large, but a lot cooler looking shirt. This one's a lot nicer. Short sleeve stuff usually doesn't sell for as much for me, but being that this is Harley Davidson and a really cool shirt, also has like some zipper pockets. I just realized there was a button that was broken on the bottom, so always check clothing over really well. I've sold so many clothes with flaws, so really not to worry. Luckily there's a couple more buttons on here. This one I'm not so sure what it's selling for. If I were to guess, probably at least $20. I've made the most money with Harley Davidson jackets. I've actually sold this exact same one before. If you've been watching my videos for a long time, I picked up one just like this at Goodwill when I first started. I can't remember what I picked this up for, but I got it pretty cheap at a garage sale. I sold the last one for like $40 to $45. I don't know if I'll still get quite that much for it now, but maybe $35 or so. I picked up a 2XL pretty basic leather jacket at a garage sale once for $20. It was practically new. I sold it for like $150. Some of their leather jackets can sell for a lot of money, so definitely look out for those. Next brand we're gonna look at, I find these a lot, and that is Orvis. This is a men's flannel shirt. This one I think goes for like $20 or so. I thought I was going to get a little bit more for this one, but I think there were quite a few in this pattern listed. Sometimes, you know, that will happen. You'll think you're going to get more. Don't always look at just what's selling. Look at what is listed as well, because some patterns there's going to be a lot of the same one, but this one will still sell for good money and it's a really good size. But here is a look at that tag. This one is, I believe, just mostly cotton. but still a really good shirt. Here is another one, for example. I picked this up for $2 at a garage sale. Here is what that tag looks like. This will probably get me closer to that $25 mark. $2 and a 25 bucks after eBay fees or Poshmark fees or whatever you sell on. These will make you some good money. I also buy a lot of the short sleeve button down shirts as well. This one has a really nice pattern, so it will definitely do better. I mean, something like this, I'm probably looking at around $18. If you get more like plain colored ones that are all cotton, you're probably gonna be looking at around like $16 to $17. Unless it's like a really big size, maybe you can go a little bit more for it. This is a little bit older women's one. It is 100% silk. I thought it was probably worth like $20. I think I may even get up to like $25 for it, but here's a good little look at that tag. I do buy a lot of Orvis suit jackets or just regular jackets. Those can do really good as well. Next brand we're gonna look at is Pendleton. Now, this is one of my favorite brands to pick up, but you gotta be careful because there's a lot of these that don't sell very well. This one right here is 100% pure virgin wool, and this one just feels really nice, really good color. Here's a good look at that tag. This one, probably looking at around like $25 for it. I recently sold a board shirt. It was a limited edition Beach Boys one. Even if it wasn't a Beach Boys one, some of those sell for crazy money. I sold that one for $90 and I got it for just $2. Sometimes they'll have these with elbow patches, and that's usually even better. I do pick them up when they're just 100% cotton as well, but they usually don't sell for as much. If it's at a thrift store, you know, for $5, I'm probably not gonna pick those up. But at a garage sale, if I can get them for like $1 or $2, then I probably will. You just gotta be careful, because like the dress shirts, all cotton, I mean, they may sell for like $17, maybe $18 if it's a really big size. This one is mostly cotton, but it's a nice flannel shirt. This is a little bit newer style. It's a Mason one. I can't remember what this one was selling for. It's an extra large, but $23, $25 if I were to guess. Now here's one that I probably could have done without. Haven't done well with these in the past, but these women's all wool jackets. This one had the pants with it. I mainly picked it up because it is a houndstooth pattern, and I've done really good with these patterns before. There's typically a lot of this stuff listed compared to actually selling, and it's probably not going to sell for a whole lot. If I'm lucky, I might sell it for like $25. Being that it is houndstooth pattern and I have the pants to match it, I might could get more, but it's very unlikely. So when it comes to Pendleton and it's like the women's jackets, from what I've seen, they don't really seem to go for a whole lot unless they're just like really unique patterns. But if you find men's jackets Pendleton, they usually do really good, especially if they're all wool. Maybe even some like wool blends. You're just gonna have to like look into those and do a little bit of research. One thing y'all might want to look into when selling clothing, because I have found that clothing tends to not sell quite as fast as hard goods, and it really just depends on the clothing that you're trying to sell. But what I do is I cross list. So I sell mostly on eBay. I list on there, and then after about 2 to 3 weeks, I like to try to cross list onto Poshmark and Mercari. That seems to help speed up the time to sell clothing, and it also really depends on the time of the year. So like in the fall and in the winter, a lot of these long sleeve button down shirts I've been showing y'all or jackets are going to sell a lot better, and then in the spring and summer, a lot of the short sleeve stuff's going to do a lot better. So you may be like, oh, I bought this and it's not selling, but just wait. Trust me, once the weather changes, things will pick up. But if you've never tried cross listing, Vendu has it where you can cross list on the computer or on a phone app, and I have links down below where you can try a free trial or you can get 25% off your first month. Next brand we're gonna look at is Carhartt. Now this is typically a workwear brand. Like a lot of construction workers or people doing like hunting and stuff like that seem to like to wear this brand a lot. It's very durable. A lot of the button down shirts I don't really pick up quite as much. I do still pick up like short sleeve and long sleeve, as long as they're pretty cheap. Definitely bigger sizes will do better. Like this is a 2XL right here. This one I already have listed. Probably looking around like 18 bucks for this realistically. If you can find these at a garage sales really cheap, I would definitely pick these up. These I've been doing really well with. I picked up a bunch of these long sleeve brand new with tag shirts at a garage sale. They had these for $4 a piece. I was like, would you take $3 a piece if I bought them all? And they were like, yeah, sure. I think it was something like that I paid. Anyways, I've done really good with these, and I've only been selling these for like around $15 to $16 plus shipping. So t-shirts like this, pre-owned, you got to be really careful that there's not a lot of stains and flaws, but I wouldn't go and pay for these at the thrift store if they were pre-owned, maybe even brand new with tags, depending on what they're asking. If you could find, like, let's say you found like 5 large t-shirts at a garage sale for 50 cents a piece, you can either list those individually, I'm not sure what they go for, maybe like $10, or you could lot them all up and do like 5 shirts for like 40 bucks or something like that. So especially if you're finding them, like I said, 50 cents a piece, $2.50 into 40 bucks is huge. I also do really good with their shorts. These are like some carpenter shorts. There's what the logo looks like. Most people know what this brand is, but these do really good for me. I can't remember what these sell for. I think they're like $20 a pair. But I find this stuff all the time for like 50 cents or $1 at a garage sale. I turn around and sell them for 20 bucks. The pants as well, I picked those up also. One time I saw one and gave away like 5 pairs for free at a garage sale. They had a lot of like bleach stains on them, and I still sold those for decent money. So definitely keep an eye out for those. The jackets also do really well. This is a blue jacket right here. And as you can see from the inside, it has like a quilt lining. Those will typically do a lot better than just like regular lining ones. This is a 2XL. I got it for $7.50. If I were to guess, probably like $60 for this, maybe a little bit more. Even if they're like in really rough shape, they tend to still sell pretty well. This one I picked up not too long ago, and it is listed. This is a brown jacket. They do have these with the hoods as well. And what I mean by these, see this little point right here and right there? This is like a Western style one. I had no idea how much these were selling. The lady, I think she was asking like $20 for it or 25. I was like, would you take 20 or 15? She's like, sure. I was thinking it was like a $60 jacket. I listed it for like 105 bucks because some of these were selling for like 90 to 100. $120, so definitely keep an eye out for those with that little Western style right there. Next brand we're gonna look at is Rock Revival. I mostly find these in women's jeans. They also have men's. The men's seem to sell for a little bit more. The only ones I have in stock are a little bit smaller sizes. This one's a 29. I really look for like 30 or larger, but I probably got these really cheap. That's why I picked these up. That's what the tag looks like on the back on this one. How the pockets look. They'll typically look like this on the waist. These are like some capris I picked up for $2, size 30, so not too bad. A lot of the jeans I sell for like smaller sizes, probably around like $30, $35. Bigger sizes, I'll get like $40 for the women's jeans. Some of them a little bit more. Men's jeans do really well. I sold some not too long ago for like $80 a pair. I think I sold one for maybe like 60 and one for 70. They also make button-down shirts as well. I don't ever find those, but those could be really good. I'll put a little photo up here of what the tag looks like. The next 3 we're going to talk about, I probably find these the most. The first one is LL Bean. Here's a good look at the tag. I really like to pick up their button-down dress shirts. I'm usually looking for really nice colors, good patterns, bigger sizes. This one is a large. Typically, I'm looking for extra large or bigger, but a lot of times I find this stuff, like I said before, at garage sales for really cheap. So it's kind of hard to pass these up. Wrinkle-resistant ones do really good for me. The better the patterns, the better they will do. It's kind of similar with the Orvis as well. If they're like short-sleeve shirts or like the Wrangler ones, short sleeves, typically don't sell for as much for me. Something like this, I'm probably looking at getting around $18 for it. Maybe 20 or a little bit more if I'm lucky, but bigger sizes like 2XL will bring in, you know, $23, $25. Here is another example. This one is a 2XL tall, and it is the traditional fit. You can see it right there on the tag. This is also a really nice color, so this one will do really good as well. Probably looking for around, you know, $20, $22 for this one. Here's another example. This one is a houndstooth pattern, kind of more like a flannel material. I just realized this one has a big hole in it, so I should have been paying attention when I picked that up. You know, I actually sold one similar to this not too long ago. I think for like $21, but being that this has a hole in there, probably gonna sell for around like $13, $14 maybe. The beauty of a lot of these brands, even if they have flaws, you can typically sell them and get your money back. I think in my thrift store, they're like $4.50. So at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lose money, but I'd rather spend my time on stuff that doesn't have so many flaws like that. I don't pick up a lot of plain colored stuff very often. This one's a pretty hefty duty material. It feels a lot like the Carhartt jackets that I had a minute ago, but this one is like really thick material. This will probably get me $20, $22 for this if I were to guess. A lot of the plain color stuff, when it comes to like LL Bean or some of these other brands, Orvis and stuff, I don't pick up a whole lot unless they're just super cheap, like at a garage sale. Stuff with better patterns, bigger sizes, typically you're gonna sell for more money. This one right here is a really nice piece. This is actually a women's LL Bean floral farm coats. Here's what that tag looks like. I paid $10 for this one at a garage sale. This will probably get me right around $40 to $45. Really nice jacket. I like picking these up a lot. I find these sometimes in men's as well. Sometimes they'll have like a thicker lining or like almost like a quilt or something like that. And those can typically sell for a little bit more. Here is a sleeveless full zip fleece. These also do good for me. This one does need a little bit of a wash, but these I'll pick up even though it's pretty basic and plain. These still do pretty good for me. This one actually has a pretty nice looking zipper on there. Probably around like $24, $25 for this. This one is a pretty basic jacket. I picked this up for, I think I paid $3 at a church sale recently. That's what that one looks like. Not huge money here if I were to guess. Probably around like $30 for this. Feels like some, what is that? Oh, it's got a glove with a lot of holes in the pocket. I still gotta clean this. The only thing I've never found is like money and clothing at a garage sale or thrift store. I found it in a little wallet one time. I just gave it back to the lady, but if you've ever found money at a garage sale or a thrift store, let me know. I think those are such cool stories. Now, the next two I want to talk about are actually the same brand, really. It's Ralph Lauren and then their line Polo Ralph Lauren. They also have Lauren Ralph Lauren. Think about it like this. Ralph Lauren is right around here. Lauren Ralph Lauren is kind of their lower end. And then the Polo Ralph Lauren is their higher end. So the first one we're going to talk about is Ralph Lauren. I'm always finding their dress shirts, their button down, especially long sleeve is what I'm typically looking for. A lot of times for like an XL or bigger size, I'm going to get a right around like $18 for these. Sometimes you can get a little bit more. It just depends on the color pattern and everything. Like this one's definitely a lot nicer looking, a little bit thicker material, but that is what the tags look like on these. This one is an XL. This Blake style typically does really nice for me. I usually list these for around like $22 and then I try to take a minimum of like 18 on these. But Ralph Lauren, you can also find these in jackets, sweaters, all kinds of stuff. I don't really buy very much Ralph Lauren stuff. There's just typically a lot of it listed compared to actually selling. Sometimes I'll pick up the jackets if they're really cheap or some of like the suit jackets, blazers, stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm just picking up Ralph Lauren and Polo Ralph Lauren. The button-down shirts, Polo Ralph Lauren do really good for me. I've picked up even like short sleeve ones with pretty decent patterns. I sold for like $25 or so. I really like to find these quarter zip pullover sweaters. These also do really good for me. Probably like 25 bucks for me. Really, if you can find any of their sweaters, like most of these examples I have are 100% cotton, but if you can find these in like cashmere, silk, wool, linen, even some of those blends, you're gonna be looking at a lot more money for these. This one's really nice, but it's just cotton. Even if these are pretty plain, I picked these up. Usually they're a lot better with the ponies on there. Or even if you can find like the long sleeve polo, the striped, or even plain with the big pony, they're like rugby shirts. Those do really good as well. I also find Polo Ralph Lauren in pants as well. Jackets, all kinds of stuff. Definitely look out for Polo Ralph Lauren. Another thing I don't find very often from Ralph Lauren is their RLX brand. I think it's like their golf brand. They also have a Polo Golf tag as well. Those can be pretty good. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. If I left some stuff out from these brands, please let me know down in the comments or let others know so we can all learn. I look forward to doing some more videos like this in the future. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. See ya!